Welcome to our sports betting top picks and plays for college basketball. This is for Saturday, February the 8th. My name is Abby. We're here to discuss a slate of games starting from this is for the 5 o'clock and on games, the late afternoon, evening games. So we're going to start off here with Utah at West Virginia.
Final.
This game opened up at 7.5, total 136. Right now we're looking at still 7.5, but it's come down to 134.5. We're seeing 134.5. It's come down a bit. Yes, 134.5. So we'll get the latest update on this one. Utah versus West Virginia. If you're wondering where we're getting this information from, oddslogic.com. It has all the updated information on up to the minute line moves, up to the minute totals over unders, up to the minute scores, these are the line moves here for the games, and the injury report for the injuries. Again, it's odd wondering. Okay. So it's still at 7.5. Hasn't really done anything. Like I said, the total is Utah, West Virginia. We're seeing 135 mainly. Yeah, 135. It hasn't really done much. We're seeing 136 now. Saw 136. Not really doing much. There's 136 here. Let's look in this game further. Look at the head-to-head in this matchup. That's Utah at West Virginia. That's a 5 o'clock start.
Half time.
Utah, West Virginia. Let's see. Utah, West Virginia. Okay, so this is the first meeting between Utah and West Virginia. They have not played before. Last 10 games, Utah against other opposition, 5-5. And then 5-5 against the spread, 2-8 to the under. So Utah, they alternate wins and losses. So they are 2-3 last 5 games. Last 5, 1-4 to the under. West Virginia, last 5, 4-6 against the spread. 4-6 last 10 games. 5-5 against the spread. 2-8 to the under. 1-4 last 5 games, and is 1-4 to the under. So we'll take a look at this game right now. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll take a look at this right now. Just one moment. We'll look into this further.
Final.
Let's see. So this is West Virginia and Utah. We'll look at the head-to-head. I have a play on this game, actually. I do have a play on this game. But let's look at the inside numbers on this game. Let's see here. Utah, West Virginia. Let's see. Yeah, so I like the under 134.5. I do like this play. I like it because right now both teams are playing to the under. Just the style of play, both teams are playing to the under right now. So that's the play I like. I like it here. It's actually, sorry, it's not. It was 136. It's come down to 134. FanDuel has 134. So it's coming down that way. There's other books that have 135, but it's coming down to 134. So it's trying to come down to 134, like I said. Although it's still 135. So I do like the under in this game. Under 134.5. As for the side, it's 7.5. It hasn't really moved. Let's look at the first half in this one. Let me see something here. Yeah, it hasn't really done any. I would just stick to the under 134.5. Utah, West Virginia. No other play on this game. That's all I have for that one. The next game we're going to look at Wake Forest at California. This one here opened up. We'll look here. 2.5 Wake Forest, total 140. Right now, we're looking at 141.5 going to 142. So it's 141.5. So look into this one further. And it still hasn't moved. Still at 2.5. Still hasn't really done anything. Let's see here. We'll look at the head-to-head in this matchup. That's Wake Forest and California. Yeah, and I have a play on this game as well. Wake Forest, California. Wake Forest, let's see. All right, so we'll look at the head-to-head matchup in this game. So in this game here, Wake Forest, California. First time ever playing each other. Wake Forest 8-2, last 10 games, 7-2-1 against the spread, 5-5 over/under. Wake Forest is 4-1 last 5 games, and are 2-3 to the under. California 5-5 last 10, 6-4 against the spread, 2-8 to the under. California 3-2 last 5 games, 1-4 to the under. So both teams are playing to the under. Let's see. Both teams playing to the under. So this is a rare spot for Wake Forest. As a road favorite, they're 3-2 as a road favorite. They covered the first 3 games on the road at Syracuse -2, at Miami -4, at West Virginia -4. The last 2, that's when they were favored. The last 2 games they were underdogs. Let's see. California. California at home as a home dog. They've only been a home dog once, and they covered once. That was at Florida State. Let me see. I'm just going to look at something here. Just looking into this. Let's looking into something that's birthed me for one moment. We're just looking into team totals and other options for this game. Let's see. So this game here, let me look at this again. I'm looking at the first half. That's why I'm taking a little bit long with this game. I'm just looking into the first half to see if there's any value with the first half number. I'm looking at taking California in the first half. I haven't made it official as yet. I do have a play, but I'm looking at California full game or first half. I am looking into this. This bursts me when I look into this. Okay, so the better bet in this game would be California as a live home dog. I know Wake Forest has covered as a favorite twice in this role, but and they've won 2 straight games. They've won at Stanford, but they were an underdog at Stanford. They were a dog at Louisville and lost. Dog at Stanford and they won. Covered West Virginia on the road. Covered Florida on the road. Syracuse on the road. They have covered. I understand that. Let's see something here. But I'm going to take California here because California showed me over the last few games. I know that, yeah, they showed me the last couple of games that they're a strong home dog. They showed that against FSU when they were last a home dog. They showed that against FSU, so they played hard against FSU as a home dog. So I like them here. I know Wake has more of a sample size. However, with the game being this early on the West Coast, that's another factor too. Wake Forest is on the West Coast, and the game being this early, it's like 2 in the afternoon on the West Coast, playing on West Coast time. That's another factor too why I like Cal. I just feel Cal can get off to a fair start, keep the game close throughout the whole game, and stay within the 2.5. Because the number's not really moving. That's a concerning factor. That's another reason why I'm taking Cal here. There's no real line movement here. It's just, to me, just sitting at 2.5, 2. It's 2.5, 2, 2.5. There's no real line movement here in this Cal game. None whatsoever. 2.5, 2.5. It hasn't really moved. It's gone down to 2. I am seeing a 3 now, but I'm sticking with Cal here. Cal at plus 2.5. If you even get a 3, take plus 3 Cal. I'm going to stick to that. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to the window with this game, but that's my play. For the total, like I said, no. I would lean to the over 141.5. I'm starting to see some 142s. I know both teams are playing to the under. That's the trend. I would lean over, but I wouldn't push it. I wouldn't feel too confident about the over. I'd lean more to California plus 2.5. Let's put it that way. Plus 2.5 California. I'd rather play that than play the over 141 or 142. I'd rather play that. Next game we're going to look at is Bradley and Evansville. This game is at 8 o'clock tonight. This is a late game. Bradley at Evansville. Bradley 5.5 point favorites, total 137. Right now we're looking at 4.5, 5. So a lot of 4.5s and 5. More lately 4.5, but we're starting to see some 5s come up. And it opened 137. That's the total opened up. And we're seeing 136. Yeah, 136.5. Yeah, 136.5 we're seeing. So we'll get an update on this game as Bradley and Evansville. We'll look at the total. Bradley and Evansville. Look into this one. This is a 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock game. Bradley, Evansville. All right, so I have a play on this game. We'll look into this further. Bradley, Evansville. Let's see. So look at the matchup here, Bradley, Evansville. First meeting of the season. Bradley 6-4 last 10 games against other opposition, 3-7 against the spread, 4-6 to the under. Bradley's last 3 straight games, 2 as a favorite, 1 as a non-favorite. They are 3-2 to the over. Evansville 4-6 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 5-5 over under. Evansville, they are 3-2 last 5 games and are 4-1 to the over. So Bradley's a 4.5 point favorite. Evansville has covered 3 straight games as a dog. 4 out of the last 5 games they've covered as a dog. And this game's in Evansville. Yeah, I like Evansville here. Evansville plus the points. Bradley on a 3-game losing streak. They haven't shown me anything. They've lost, and this is a good Bradley team, but they haven't covered a spread on the road in about 2 weeks. They covered Belmont as a 2.5 point favorite, covered at home against Indiana State. But the last 4 games, they haven't really looked good, and they haven't covered. Yeah, they haven't covered on the road. Belmont's last place they covered. Then, like I said, 1-4 last 4 games, and then 3 straight losses where they haven't covered. Even in the win when they beat Illinois State at home, they were 8.5 point favorites, didn't cover, won by 4. Evansville, meanwhile, they've covered, like I said, the last 4 out of the last 5 games they've covered the spread as an underdog. Of this exact amount, 4.5, 5.5 range they've covered. So in this particular range between 4.5 and 5.5, right now it's 4.5. It's about to go to 5. I still like Evansville. I like Evansville plus the points. I believe they covered the number here. They stay within the number, and I believe they cover the spread. 4.5 Evansville for me. That's my take on that one. In terms of the total, no play on the total. The total's a pass. Nothing there. Next game we're going to look at, we see Georgia Tech at Virginia. This one is a 5:30 start. Virginia 2.5 point favorites. Georgia Tech's total for that game 128.5. Sorry, the opening number was -2. Excuse me, -2. Total for for this game 130. Virginia at home versus Georgia Tech. Right now, we're seeing 2.5, and it's at 128. So look into this one here. Virginia at Georgia Tech. Let's see. Virginia, Georgia Tech. We're seeing 129. Let's see. We'll look into this one further. Virginia, Georgia Tech. Let's see. Okay, so Virginia, Georgia Tech. First meeting this season. Last 10 games, Georgia Tech against other opposition, 5-5 against the spread, 6-4 to the 6-4 against the spread, 5-5 over under. Georgia Tech's won 2 straight games. They are 3-2 last 5 games, and are 2-3 to the under. Virginia, 3-7 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 7-2-1 to the over. If you're wondering where we're getting this information from, it's covers.com. That's the other website we go on, covers.com, for all this information. Latest news on head-to-head matchups between two basketball teams, the spreads, the over-unders. This is where we get all the information from. Covers.com. All your basketball information, NBA, college basketball, from covers.com. So like I was saying, 3-2 last 5 games, Virginia, and 4 let's see, 4-0-1 last 5 games to the over, Virginia. So Virginia's playing very well offensively. They're getting the offenses there. Georgia Tech, 2-3 to the under. Head-to-head, the last 3 times these teams have played, they've played over the total. They've played to the over. This is in Virginia. They played to the over. Again, it's 128.5. Let's look here. This is an ACC matchup. Yeah, this is an ACC matchup. Let me look here. Virginia's a 2.5-point favorite. I'm going to take Georgia Tech here. I like Georgia Tech in this spot. They have covered as an underdog because they're playing the underdog role now. They've covered 3 straight games as an underdog. 2 of the 3 games they've covered plus 7.5 at Notre Dame, plus 9.5 at home against Louisville, plus 12 at Clemson. So they have covered the last 3 games they've covered. Virginia, the only game that they've covered as a favorite is Boston College. They've been a favorite twice this month. Covered at home against Boston College, failed to cover at home versus Virginia Tech. They lost outright in that game. So I like Georgia Tech plus the 2.5. Let me look here. That's Georgia Tech and Virginia. Let's see. Make sure everything aligns right. That's my play on that game. Just bear with me for a moment. I look into this further. Georgia Tech and Virginia. Yeah, so definitely I'm on Georgia Tech. I like Georgia Tech here, plus the 2.5. This makes a lot of sense to me. They've covered 3 straight games. I can see them covering their 4th straight. I don't trust Virginia in this spot. They've only covered once against Boston College at home. And they failed to cover at home against Virginia Tech. So I like Georgia Tech here. I like him in this spot. And another reason why I like Georgia Tech, there's 2 reasons. There's a second reason too. Reason number 2, they got to play their arch rival, Virginia Tech. This is basically the battle of Virginia. This is the battle in the of Virginia, the state of Virginia. So this is a big battle. This is for bragging rights. So this is kind of like, I would say this is a sandwich spot. It's a look ahead spot. So that's the other reason why I like Georgia Tech here. They got Virginia Tech on the road. They lost these guys by a point last year, and they got to play them in the rematch again. So this is for bragging rights for the state of Virginia. So that's another reason why I like Georgia Tech plus 2.5. It's like one of my top plays today for college basketball. Plus 2.5 Virginia. Plus 2.5. Excuse me, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech plus 2.5. It's one of my top plays for today. Next game we're going to look at here. Loyola Chicago. Let me get it back here. I had it right here. Loyola Chicago at Duquesne. So Loyola Chicago is a 1-point favorite on the road. The total's 129.5. It's now come to 1.5. Right now, 1.5. And it's gone all the way to 131.5. That's where it's at. Yeah, 1.5. Let's see. So look into this game some more. This is Loyola Chicago versus Duquesne. Let's see. This one is a 6 o'clock start. Loyola Chicago Duquesne. Six o'clock start. Loyola Chicago Duquesne. Okay, yes, I definitely have a play on this one. Yes, I have a play on this game here. 6 o'clock start. Definitely have a play on this one. Six o'clock start. Duquesne. All right, so we'll look at the head-to-head matchup between these two teams. And we'll see here. First meeting of the season. Head-to-head against other opposition. Loyola's 5-5. Last 10 games, 5-5 against the spread, 5-5 to the over/under. Loyola Chicago's won 2 straight games. They're 3-2 in the last 5 games, and they are 1-4 to the under. So they're doing it with defense in the last 5 games. Doing it with good defense. Duquesne, 4-6 last 10 games, 5-5 against the spread, 7-3 to the over. Duquesne has lost 5 straight games, and they've only covered once out of the 5 games as an underdog. They are 3-2 to the over Duquesne, so they're giving up a lot of points. They're giving up a lot of points here. Loyola Chicago 1.5. They're on the road. They haven't covered a road game this year. Oh, they covered LaSalle. Yeah, they cover against LaSalle. 1.5 point favorites. 131. Duquesne's lost 5 straight games. Wow. Let's look at this one. You can see this one here. 130. Let's look at this. Look at this one more time. You look at the line movements here. This is a tight one. Interesting one. Loyola Duquesne. Let me see this one here. Let me look at something. One more thing I want to look at. I'm gonna take this game for 2 reasons. They are in a 5-game losing streak. They're a desperate team right now, and anytime you're in a desperate situation, trying to get wins, you're a dangerous squad. When you're in a desperate situation, losing 5 straight games, that's dangerous for any team. And number 2, Loyola Chicago has a look-ahead game. They got to play Richmond. Richmond's obviously a better team than Duquesne. They lost to these guys last year. Last year around this time, or a month earlier, they lost to these guys, 58-56 in Richmond. So they have a revenge spot there, Loyola Chicago. They played them in 3 days, so this is definitely a sandwich spot for Loyola Chicago. Duquesne, one of the worst teams out there right now. So to me, I see Loyola Chicago looking ahead past this team. So I can understand why the line's as tight as it is, because I guess the odds makers are thinking they're looking at this is a look ahead spot to Richmond, the more superior team than Duquesne. And like I said, Duquesne's a desperate team, losing 5 straight. They covered out at St. Joe's. They have actually covered as a dog at home against St. Bonaventure and against St. Joe's. So they have covered actually as an underdog 2 straight as a home underdog. They've covered 3 straight as a home underdog. Rhode Island at home as a 1.5 point dog. They won that game. Covered against St. Joe's as a 3-point dog. Won that game. St. Bonaventure +2 as a 2-point dog and won that game. So they've covered 3 straight as a home. This is a home underdog. That's a big difference. They failed to cover against Dayton. Dayton blasted them. But despite that game, I still like them here in this spot. They're capable of covering. I wouldn't be surprised if they won the game. So that's the reason why I like Duquesne plus the 1.5. Plus 1.5 points. I like him here to cover at home. Plus 1.5. So I like him in this spot here. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that game. That's it. Nothing else about that. Nothing on the over-unders. Nothing on that game for the totals, over-unders. Next game will be Duke at Clemson. This is one of the top games, marquee games of the day. 6:30 p.m. is the start for this one. This one opened up -7.5 Duke. Total is 134.5. Right now we're seeing it's come down to 6. We're seeing some 6s. And still 132.5. Let's see. I'm seeing some 6. Starting to see a little bit of 6.5s as well coming up. Let's see. A lot of Clemson money coming in, though. That's very interesting. A lot of the public's on Clemson. This is interesting. The public's on Clemson, and the public is on the under in this game. Nah. The under. This is interesting. The public's on the under. That's an interesting one. Yeah, the public's on the under. Let's look at this game here. I'm going to have a play on this one myself. That's a Duke Clemson, 6:30 p.m. tonight. So first meeting this season, Duke Clemson. Duke last 10 games are 10-0. They've won 10 straight games. Basically 5-0 last 5. and 3-2 to the over. Clemson. They had won previously 6 straight games, but lost at home to Georgia Tech. Outright loss. Overall 5-1 last 5 games. 4-1 last 5 games, and 3-2 to the over. So both teams are playing to the over. However, since this is a divisional ACC matchup or a conference ACC matchup, I gotta go with the under. The last 2 games in this series have gone under, so I gotta look at the under here. Under for me in this game. And it seems that's what Duke's doing lately in these games, especially these low totals of 133, 136. It seems like they're going under the total. So I like the under here. Under one. I'm gonna go with the public and take the under 132.5. I'll be with the public on this one. Under 132.5. I don't have a play on the side. Let me see what else I can find here. I'm going to look at some team totals and a first half of this game. Let me see what I can find here in this one. But I do like the under 132 so far for the game. Like I said, for the other stuff here, yeah, let me see. Let's look at the first half. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see anything here. The best angle for me is under 132.5. That's the best angle for me. Some books right now, if you shop around, let me see. Because some books have it at 133.5. I'm gonna double check this just to make sure. Yeah, that's the only play in this game for me. Yeah, because the last 2 games in that series have gone under, so I like the under here. Public's on the under too. I gotta agree with the public here. I'm gonna take the under. 132.5 for me. I like the under. I'll be riding with the public. Next game, Illinois at Minnesota. This one opened up 8.5 Illinois, total 143. It's gone all the way up to 6.5. It's 145. Let's look into this one. That's a 6 o'clock start. 6 o'clock start. Let's see if I see anything else here. 146.5. Now we're seeing 147. Let me see. Okay, it's 147. I think I'm seeing something here. Let me see something. Let's see. This is a 6 o'clock start. Okay, so this is the first meeting between these two teams. Illinois, their last 10 games, this is against other opposition. 5-5 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. They're 2-3 last 5 games, and are 2-3 to the under. That's Illinois. Minnesota, 4-6 last 10, 6-4 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. 3-2 last 5 games, and are 2-3 to the under. Minnesota 2-3 to the under, and Illinois 2-3 to the under. Head to head, 3-1-1 to the over. This is interesting. And Illinois is on the road in Minnesota. And this is at 145. Let me see. Let me look at something here. Let's see this game. Yeah, the only way I can bet this game, I'm leaning towards the under, because both teams are trending to the under. This is a lean. I'm not sure if I'm going to get there or not, but I lean to the under. Under 140. Let me see. I know the line. I think the line's moving up. Let me see. Let me take a look at this one. Yeah, the line's moving up. Don't know if I necessarily agree with the line moving up like that. I'm going to look at the under 147.5. Both teams are trending to the under. And I noticed Illinois, when they're on the road, their last 2 games when they're on the road, they did play at Rutgers and went under 159. At Nebraska, 157. This is Illinois. They played at Michigan under 160. The last 3 road games they've gone under the total. I noticed that with Illinois. So they haven't exactly been going over. So I like the under here. Under. I lean this way, 145.5, and I wouldn't talk you off of a team total. Illinois team total. This is kind of a risky one, because when they've gone under, they've scored. They've been under the 76, but barely. This is 70. The team total's under 76.5. This one's kind of risky because the last 2 games on the road, they have scored average 73, 74 points. The previous 2 games at Michigan, at Indiana, they scored over that. At Nebraska, at Rutgers, they scored 70. They scored over 70. They scored under 76.5 points, but barely. Those are my 2 leans. Those are the 2 leans. I'm not sure if I'm going to get there if I'm going to get there with that game, but those are my 2 leans. Not sure if I'm going to get there. If I had to choose one lean, I'd lean to the under for the full game. I wouldn't talk you off of the team total under for Illinois, under 76.5 points. But that's my play for that game. Let's see. No play on the sides. I have no play on the side whatsoever. Next game here. Let's see. We already talked about Duke and Clemson. We're going to do the under in that game for the Duke and Clemson. We got one here. Mississippi State at Georgia. This one's a 6 o'clock start. Open up at 1.5. Total is 140. This one here. There's nothing here. Still 1.5. I do have a play on this one. Very little line movement in this game. Not really a lot of line movement. Very quiet. Nothing really here.
Halftime.
Georgia and Mississippi State. Let me see. This one's all over the place, but we'll look into this game further. Yeah, this game's all over the place. Oh, man. Let's see, where is this at? This one is a 7 o'clock start, I believe. Let me check. That's Georgia at home versus Mississippi State. 6 o'clock. This is a 6 o'clock start. Sorry, 6 o'clock. I said 7 o'clock. 6 o'clock start. Total 140, 1.5. Hasn't really done anything. Yeah, I got to play on this one.
Halftime.
6 o'clock start here. Six o'clock starts. Let's see. All right, so this matchup here for Georgia at Mississippi State. Mississippi State, they're 5-5 last 10 games, 2-8 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. 2-3 last 5 games, Mississippi State, and 3-2 to the over. Georgia 4-6 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 1-8-1 to the under. Georgia 1-3-1 to the under. 2-3 the last 5 games.
Halftime.
Georgia, they're favored. They've covered 2 straight as a favorite at home. LSU -8, South Carolina 7.5. Mainly their losses have been because they've been underdogs in this rule. That's why they've been losing. Now all of a sudden Mississippi State is an underdog. They haven't fared too well in that role either. I'm gonna have to look. This is a very close one. Boy, this is really close. The only way I can look in this game. I gotta look at the. I'm gonna look at the under in this game. Under 141.5. I see under 141.5. I gotta look at the under. Both teams are pretty bad. Mississippi State's lost 2 straight games, 2 and 3 last 5. Georgia's been up and down themselves. They're 2 and 3 last 5. I got to look at the under here. The last 2 meetings have gone under between these 2 teams. The only way I can look is an under. under 140, under 141.5. I gotta look at the under here. That's the only play for this game. Nothing on this side. It's too close to call because both teams are terrible. Yeah, I gotta take the under 141.5. That's the best play for this game. Now for the next game, we're gonna look at BYU Cincinnati. This one is 6 o'clock start. We have here at Pick'em. Open up at Pick'em, and it's open at 140.5 the total. Right now, Cincinnati is 1.5. We're starting to see some twos come up on the board. Just one book has 2, but it's mainly 1.5. So look into this game further. Let's look into this game here. BYU Cincinnati. It's been 1.5 all day. 6 o'clock start. Yeah. And the total is 139, 140. Let's see here. BYU Cincinnati. Head to head. So let's see. BYU Cincinnati. All right, so here we are. Now this game here, they did play about a week ago in Provo, Utah, in BYU. Utah was a 6.5 point favorite. The total was 137. Utah won 80-52, and it was under 137. So last 10 games, BYU 5-5, and then 4-5 and 1 against the spread, 5-4 and 1 to the over. BYU had their 4-game winning streak come to an end. They lost at Arizona, or they lost at home to Arizona, and they're 4-1 last 5 games overall. Let's see. 3-1-1 to the over last 5 games. Cincinnati 3-7 last 10, 2-8 against the spread, 2-8 to the under. Cincinnati 1-4 last 5 games, and are 2-3 to the under last 5 games. So both teams are. Let me see. Let me look at this again for BYU. So BYU 3-1-1 to the over. Cincinnati 1-2-3 to the under. So both teams trying to get opposite directions. Last time they played, it was let's see. Both games went under the total. They definitely went under the total. Yeah, both games definitely went under. Let me look at this one here. I see the same thing. I see it going under again. I see under 139.5. I like that. Let me look at the Cincinnati team total, because it looks like BYU, they really clamped down on them defensively. Let's see here. Let me look at the team total Cincinnati. I might play the team total here, Cincinnati as well. Let me look at the number. Yes, I like under 70. Under 70 points, Cincinnati. Team total Cincinnati, under 70. And under 139.5. Cincinnati hasn't scored over 70 points against BYU in the last 2 games. They're averaging about 60. So I like under 70.5 Cincinnati team total. Full game under 139 BYU Cincinnati. That is a 6 p.m. start this afternoon. I like that one. Yeah, I like that one there. We're going to be dealing, the next one we're going to be looking at is Alabama, Arkansas. I play this one myself. This is going to be a totals play, then over-under play that I like. We'll look at the line movement for this one. It's about an 8:30 start, late one tonight. This is one of my top ones here, 8:30. Alabama, Arkansas. This one here opened up at 6.5, total 162.5. Right now we're looking at four and a half, total 165. So I like this one here. I do have a play on this one. We'll look at this one further. Alabama, Arkansas. They have not played this season. First meeting this season. Alabama 9-1 last 10 games, 8-2 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Alabama's won 5 straight games. They've won 5 straight. And they are 3-2 to the over. Alabama. Arkansas 4-6 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 4-6 to the under. 3-2 Arkansas last 5 games and are 2-3 to the under. So my play on this game, I like 2 plays on this game. They're both totals. So I'm going to get to that game and I'll give that to you. Let's get to that one. Okay, so over 164.5 for the full game, Alabama, Arkansas. This is an 8:30 start, Eastern Standard Time. And I like the first half. Let's see. I like the first half over as well. Over 78.5 first half. So I like both sides. Both the over 78.5 first half total. Arkansas, Alabama. Full game over 164.5. Expect a offensive showing in Arkansas. Usually the Alabama games go over the total. A lot of their games go over. They're a fast tempo, high speed offensive machine that plays up tempo, whether they're at home or on the road. I like the over here. I'll be betting that. And then for the late game, we're going to do Arizona, Texas Tech. This is one of the top marquee games here that I like. This is a 10:30 game. This will be the last game we're going to be doing on the board for college basketball. One of the top ones. 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game tonight. We'll look at the number here. The last game on the board. This one here. $10:30 game. Okay, here we are. So this opened up at 2.5. 150 was the total. 2.5 Arizona at home against Texas Tech, total 150.5. Right now it's 149. So it's come down to 149 and it's 149. 149 and 149.5 in this for this game here. So look into this further. Sorry, one moment. Sorry. Let's see here. Like I said, this will be the last game on the board. Let's look at the line history here. Okay. So look into this game further. Look at the matchup. We see they did play last month at Texas Tech. Texas Tech was a 4.5 point favorite. It was under. The total was 150. It was under, and Texas Tech covered it 70-54. So this is basically the rematch in Arizona. Texas Tech 9-1 last 10 games, 7-3 against the spread, 4-6 to the under. Texas Tech has won 7 games in a row, and they are 3-2 to the over last 5 games. That's Texas Tech. So they're in Arizona. This is the second time that they're an underdog. They were an underdog at Houston, covered at Houston, plus 9.5. They nearly won. Covered at BYU and won out. So this is the second time they've been an underdog. Now for Arizona 9-1 last 10 games, 8-2 against the spread, 6-4 to the over, and Arizona's won 5 straight games, and are 4-5 last, and they've covered 4 straight games as a favorite, and they are 4-1 in the last 5 games. Arizona. Let's see here. Let's see here. So let's see. Let me look at this some more. I'm going to take a look at this. See if you can get a pick out of this one.
Halftime.
Let me look at this one here. I'm going to have to look at the under in this game. The last 3 games have gone under in this series, including the one a week ago. Yeah, I'm going to have to look at the under 150.5. Well, every time these two teams play, it's always a defensive battle. Texas Tech, in their wins, they've won, like I said, 7 straight games. And in their 7 games that they've won, they've gone under 5 of the last 7 games. They've gone under the total. And Yeah, they've gone under the total in their last 5 of the last 7 games. So I'm gonna play. If I'm playing this game, I'm looking at the under 150, under 150 and a half. I gotta bet the under. It's showing other books it's 148, so it's come down to 148. I gotta bet the under in this game. The week ago they played under, and yeah, I gotta look at the under here. I gotta play the under here. It's actually going up a bit too. It's going to 149. Well, that was early in the day, but I gotta play the under. And everybody's taking Arizona. Everybody's on Arizona. I'm gonna stay away from the side. I wouldn't talk you off of Arizona money line. I'm gonna stay away from the full game itself. Let me look at the first half, but I like the under here. Last 3 meetings have gone under in this series, so I'm gonna stick to the under. Let me look at the first half. Let me see something.
Final.
Yeah, I'll stick to the under. I'm going with the under. Under 148 and a half. I'm gonna stick to that. I'm staying with the under. I don't see anything changing in it within a week. So I like the under here. Another defensive battle. I like the under here. Under 148 and a half. I'm going to take that. All right, so that's it for the college basketball card. It's a big slate of games today, as it is every single Saturday. Again, you can fade or foul these picks. It's up to you. I just choose the games how I see them fit and what I perceive. I hope you cash your tickets either way. Whatever you choose or pick, I hope you cash your tickets. Good luck. Stay true to yourself. Stay blessed. Stay humble. Believe in yourself. Take care. Have a good one. And don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button so you can get more of these picks and plays that are being provided for college basketball. Take care.